Now these olive trees, these like olive tree gardens, you'll see all over Croatia. And olive trees can live like more than 1,000 years. This one, obviously they chopped down, but it's already been growing. Croatian homemade olive oil. When I first came there, like I had never had olive oil, because like in the States, olive oil is not olive oil. But once you try it, you're like, oh, that's olive oil. It's cool though. They make like an event out of it. You get these like rake things, and then you kind of rake the olives out of the trees. Anyways, it's a beautiful ass view. Uh, 1930. This is probably where you used to come fill your water. Trying out the 4K. This is all 16th century stuff. You could actually still use that if you cleaned it out. A new house. I walk out of there drunk. This is just a little town of Kožino, a little 16th century town, about 10 kilometers from Zadar. This would have been the old Turg Square. Now this church was originally built in the 16th century, and you can see obviously this tower's been restored. Another cool thing about Croatia is they'll sometimes just build right on top of the older things, and you can obviously tell there was an old house there that they built this building on. This is probably a early 19th century, 18th century building anyways though. Yeah, somebody lives there. So, Church of St. Michael. So you can see, like I said, the original building and then the restoration. It's interesting how the tower is separate. It's a cool little Turg though. Super mini Turg. Jako Malo Turg. There's also a little castle fort down by the seaside, built around the same time, but obviously not restored. We're gonna head down there too. I have snot on my nose. Over there you'll just see Zadar. You can actually see the tower. Well, you might not be able to see it on the camera. As I fall right through this thing. Now you can just see how clean the water is. You'll watch out for these little sea urchin thing though. You step on them and they get stuck in you for like 3 months. But obviously you can see them because it's clear. Old boat crane. Want to get some tetanus? Yeah, the water when I first came here blew my mind. It was clearer than Thailand. That's the second most clear I've seen. Now you can see that little fortress fort that we're going to. Another thing you got to be aware of is like you'll see like restaurants like these all up and down the coast. I mean, they're beautiful places to like, you know, stop if you've never been to one or anything like that. But I would say the majority of these places, you won't get good food. You won't get like locals prices. It's just like the mediocre stuff. I mean, if you've never been to one, go to one by all means, but it's definitely not going to be the best food you get in Dalmatia. This one particularly is pretty terrible. Also, don't expect too many sand beaches. So if you want to look like a complete weenie, bring your water shoes. Then all the Croatians will make fun of you. Do you have water shoes?
Huh?
Do you have some water shoes?
Of course not. Last time I wore it, I was like 2.
Oh, we could take the boat out for a spin. It's like 1 in a million. But hey, as I run myself into some thorns.
Okay.
It's for this cool little shot though. When you come out of here, you go into like this little magic fairy garden. And then you can see it right there through the trees.
The main meadow where I choose to stay
Yes.
while you are going back to
All right.
Fort Church.
Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Godspeed, Will Robinson. See, like I said earlier, this is like a 16th century church fort. These were built during the time of the Ottoman invasions. Basically, it doubled as a monastery and a church. I mean, a monastery and a fort. Any gypsies back there? And you can see kids hanging out here and back, stuff like that. There's the old Church Monastery. Like I said, last time we were here, we were actually inside here as there was an earthquake. It was pretty crazy. Get a shot of me falling. And you'll see these types of ruins like all over Croatia. When you go to read about them, there's really not much. But like I said, church fort, 16th century. And that's about it for little town of Kožino.